Hello, everyone, and welcome to ROKStudios. I'm Stan Miller. I'm PR and Analyst Relations Manager for Rockwell Automation in the EMEA region. And I'm joined today by Rohit Khera. He is Global Vice President of Market Access for Rockwell. Rohit, welcome to the studio.
Thank you so much, Stan. Happy to be here. And it's my first time with Rock Live, and I'm super excited to talk about my favorite subject, partner ecosystems.
Let's get into the questions. So, to your point, we're here to talk a little bit about turning collaboration into a competitive advantage through partnerships. In the past, you've talked about ecosystems as the future of industrial automation. In practical terms, Rohit, what does a high performing partner network ecosystem do differently, especially when customers are trying to connect IT and OT across really complicated environments?
Yeah, no, of course. It is an ecosystem play for the customers. It's very well known and understood that our clients are interacting with five, six, or even seven different partners to bring the whole transformation together. It's not a single vendor or a single trusted partner play. But the more partners and the more complex the technology gets, the transformation and the risk rewards are also higher. And so, for high performing ecosystems, the first thing that they do is have a very clear reference architecture on what this transformation is going to look like and what success is going to look like. Clients are not buying products and tools anymore, and they do not like to be treated as an integration lab themselves. So it's very important for the ecosystem and every player that is playing the part in the ecosystem to have a reference architecture that is very pre-approved, pre-decided, and then the client says, okay, I know exactly what the outcomes I'm going to be getting. That's one. The second one is, of course, the delivery assurance element of it. It's good to have playbooks. It's good to have all the governance. It's good to have all the escalation mechanisms put in place. But the delivery assurance of how the work is going to happen on time, on budget, extremely crucial for the customers. And so the high performing ecosystem takes that into cognition and is very, very obsessed with how the delivery of the whole program is going to happen on time for the client. And the third one is, of course, in terms of the talent that you put in on the team has to be very, very well enabled and trained and certified to do the job.
Oh, that's great context.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Let's dig a little bit deeper. As transformation becomes more software driven, what capabilities must an ecosystem have to deliver consistently so customers see that faster time to value?
Yeah. Uh, like with everything in our lives, the software will play a much bigger role, just like with our houses, with our phones, with our cars, and everything else. Gone are the days when you would just replace one mechanical part on your appliance or a car with the software, and the whole testing that has to be done is a lot more structured, but it's a lot more comprehensive as well. Same scenario is in our industrial, discrete partner network, partners and customer bases as well. So the first and the most important thing is a very, very thorough enablement that has to happen for every player that is in the ecosystem. So when you are dealing with enablement, you cannot just do once and then forget for a set duration of time. It's continuous, it has to be regularly updated, and the roles that the players are playing has also to be very clearly enabled. Are you an architect? Are you a deployment expert? Are you a tester? Etc. So that's very, very crucial. The more software comes in our lives, the more the enablement happens. Then the second part is the delivery assurance part of it. Like I said, when you have so much of complex moving parts in software, there is a hyperscaler, there is a technology vendor, there is a controls partner, there is someone with the data lake, there is someone who's providing the AI element of it. Everything has to work very seamlessly. The delivery has to be very thorough and very well thought out. And so that's extremely important. And the third one, of course, I now feel is getting very mainstream is the co-development and the access to APIs, the access to toolkits for one vendor to interact with the other vendor. So the technology to technology is extremely crucial so that you can build that seamless experience for the clients. You could work on a joint solution or you can work on a joint IP, but that's going to be extremely critical as you move to a very software defined transformation in this ITOT world.
Crystal clear. Rohit, you've emphasized collaboration as a driver
Mhm.
of innovation. What are the non negotiables that you look for in partners beyond technical skills so co-delivery
Mm.
truly
Yeah.
works?
Yeah. Uh, so technical skills and customer facing skills, whether you are business development, whether you are helping with customer success, I think those are going to be table stakes. You have to lead with it. That's non negotiable. But more important is the strategic alignment and the behavioral alignment of all the players in the ecosystem. So, for example, are you looking at the same North Star as one vendor looks at it? And if all the partners are looking at the North Star the same way and have the same customer obsession, at least your basic fundamentals are in place in terms of what good looks like for your clients and what success looks like in your definition. So I start with that. So the cultural alignment is extremely important as well. The second part, which is coming from the transparency element of it. If you are going to be part of an ecosystem delivering a common goal and a common results to the client, then transparency in terms of how you do business, how you look at a sales pipeline, how you do a joint bid together, non-negotiable. You have to be extremely transparent with your partners while you're dealing with it. Don't hold your cards close to yourself, because then you're going to look very, very silly in front of the customer when he's saying, how does the entity end to end comes and delivers impact to me? So that's going to be the second. I also look at the vertical contextualization as critical. You can have a technology that serves different industries, but the vertical or the domain expertise that is needed for a food and bev customer versus an oil and gas customer versus an automotive customer, they are looking for different contexts. They're looking at different value from the same technology that they are going to be deploying in their organization. So I think vertical domain expertise, in my opinion, is going to be extremely important as well.
What I'm hearing is true ecosystem orchestration based on what you're sharing.
Absolutely.
When a partner network is working at its best, what outcomes should customers expect, and where do partners uniquely amplify Rockwell's value?
Yeah, of course. So the best of the best that the customers would expect is going to be on the experience. So the customer experience has to be absolutely frictionless, and that is the holy grail that an ecosystem is going after. Did the customer get the value that they were looking for? Is the second most important part. Now, we have to remember they invested a lot to have the transformation happen to their organization. And so it's very critical that we deliver the impact, we deliver the value, and we deliver the outcomes that they were looking for. And those are absolutely high priority for the ecosystem to deliver.
Right, you've worked across the partner landscape. What's the biggest difference between how partners think about transformation and how vendors plan for it? And how do you bridge that gap?
So I think it depends on the role that you're playing in the entire value chain of an ecosystem. So different players have different horizons. If you are a technology company, you are looking at a much longer horizon because you are the one that's going to come up with a new IP that's going to be very transformative in nature for the customers. You're listening to the voice of the customer. You're looking at where the future technology is headed and a various amount of parameters that go in before you release a new piece of technology, a piece of software, or a piece of equipment, whatever the business that you're in. But if you are a partner that is looking at the services deployment and the integration side of the story, then your time horizons are different for transformation. You're looking at serving that particular customer, delivering value, and then learning from it, improving the business processes, and moving to the next one. But if you're a distributor, then your value, when your time horizons are even shorter, you're looking at supply chain, you're looking at warehouse availabilities and the near shores of it, etc. And so I think depend on where you are in the value chain, the time horizons are going to be different. What is important is, are you completely aligned and are you able to manage the different variables when you're designing an ecosystem? Because that is where the real benefits for the clients happen. If these things are out of sync, that's where the value gets lost in the entire ecosystem, in my opinion.
Rohit, this is great. I love learning about our partner network ecosystem, how we are better together, and I really appreciate the opportunity to learn more about your vision and strategy for the future. So thank you so much for joining us in the
Thank you
studio
for the
today.
opportunity. Like I said, Rockwell is a very, very partner centric, partner driven organization. And I'm very glad to be part of the organization and look forward to delivering impact to the customers. Thank you for the opportunity.
And thank you for watching. If you'd like to learn more about industrial automation and digital transformation, visit rockwellautomation.com.